Jim, the line is most of our commodities, the things that go into a Tesla, not all, but more than half the prices are trending down. Now, this could change, but the trend is down, which suggests that we are past peak.
I'm all in Musk. I'm all in Musk. I think that he sees it better than anyone. Look, he's a huge manufacturer, one of the greatest manufacturers, maybe the greatest manufacturer of our lifetime. And but he also is very close to customers because of their unusual direct to sell. And I think he's just spot on. That's what's going to happen. That's going to come true. And boy, does he ever have a handle on the commodities. So, yeah, I am all in on what he said. I think he's going to be proven exactly right. He is that. He's smarter than he may be smarter than almost anybody except for Jensen Huang at NVIDIA.
Right. How would you characterize how the market's absorbing then the jobs number?
Well, I said this week that if we had a red hot number, and when I did my game plan on Monday, I said we're going to repeal a pretty decent amount of the July rally. And I think that there's so many people who are fearful that they will take profits. And it could be thin trading, too.
Yeah. On top of that, the B of A desk this morning suggested that the squeeze we've seen for consumer names especially,
yes,
the biggest squeeze in a couple of years, signs that it is starting to ease off. You saw it in the latter part of yesterday's action.
Look, obviously I don't want it, but I do think that we've had a dramatic decline in a lot of commodities, but that was predicated upon the economy kind of cooling off. Watch oil. Oil might be the tell because oil has been my reason to be optimistic about the rest of the market. Remember, when oil goes down, almost everything is going up. If oil comes back and oil's still nicely down, then I think we're going to see a real repeal. But right now, the commodities are not. The commodities are not acting the way I thought they would. I mean, I thought that the commodities would spike on this. We've got copper up slightly, we have lumber up slightly, but we have oil, gasoline down badly. We have natural gas up, but they're not reacting the way I thought they would. I thought that they would spike. So I'm still medium-term bullish. We have to deal with this because people just know red-hot employment sell. They don't really think red-hot employment, let's sell something. They said red-hot employment, let's go to the S&P and bang out the futures. Because this is big money we're talking about. The money that we're talking about, individual companies are too small for them. But I do think that this was not the number I wanted to see. I know that.
Right.
As someone who's bullish.
But it doesn't sound like it's enough to make you think, all right, maybe we switch back to banks and energy.
No.
Going into next week.
No. I just think that what's going to happen is there's going to be a pall has been cast over everything. Because now just people say, will they in August, will they signal? What did they know? All of these hawks, and if they're going to focus just on employment and not at all think about what Musk talked about when it comes to commodities, I think they're going to make a mistake. Because I think that we didn't have that he's going for a soft, shallow recession. That's what I'm hoping for. You're
talking about Musk?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm hoping for.
Musk tweeted the idea that we're in for maybe 18 months of a mild recession.
I think he's right. I think they should listen to him. If I were a Fed governor or president, I would say, let me go over what he said. I would even give him a call. I don't know if he'd take a call, but look, does he see the panoply of the economy better than anyone else in the world? Yes. Remember, he's got Berlin, he's got China, he's got parts of America, he's got direct sale data that he gets every day. He knows what he can build and what he can't build. And his call, I think, is perfect.
We're going to talk a lot more about their meeting, the split.
The Twitter post about him does not make him out to be a gentleman and a scholar. The one that came out last night was basically saying that he's a pack of lies.
Yes, and he would argue backward that their own metrics are deceiving as well.
This one was I thought it was killer. I thought it was dispositive, and I really felt that, all right, Elon Musk, you're also going on Twitter. And how will that be in terms of figuring out the economy?